kind of keep an eye on things. Okay, well let me start by reading just the introduction here, and then we'll continue with we'll start the interview. So this is Wednesday, March 24th, 2004. Today's interview with World War II veteran Vera Fenimore is taking place at the Chemung County Historical Society in Elmira, New York. Vera is 80 years old, having been born November 19th, 1923. As Vera Whitmarsh Fenimore, she served in the U.S. Navy from the fall of 1944 to November 15th, 1945. At the time of her discharge, she held the rank of Hospital Apprentice First Class. Vera currently resides at 23 Route 34, Waverly, New York. My name is Marlene Zecca, and I volunteered to interview Vera as part of the Veterans History Project. And before I start, I'm just going to see if I can just show here just the, we're just taking a view of your discharge papers here. And it's kind of interesting. It's got a ship there at the top, and I think we're just getting a shot of that is all. Okay, very good. Well, let me take these glasses off. What I wanted to find out, we'll probably jump around a little bit, but what I wanted to find out from you was, as a woman, you know, there weren't too many women that went into the military. And if you could tell me what brought you into the military? Why did you get into the military at that time?
Well, my husband had gone off to war, and he had a sister who was in the Navy. Her name was Alice Daly, and she suggested, why don't I come in? And so I decided to go, and I enlisted then.
Okay. Now, you were you a nurse at the time, or?
No.
No. Okay. Okay. Let's go back now a little bit. Like, where were you born? Where are you from originally?
Well, I was born in Halsey Valley, in my parents' home. And what else did you want to know?
Oh, yeah, just where you were from, and but you were born in the home then.
In the home, yes.
In the home. Okay.
They did that them days.
Those days. Now, Halsey Valley that's near Waverly. Is that not correct?
Well, it's closer to Spencer, I think.
Okay.
Although it may be, coming the back way it might be.
Right, right. Okay. Where did you go to school then?
We went in a little one-room schoolhouse. We had 8 grades in the one room.
Yeah.
And we had a hill outside that we would, in the winter, the bigger children we'd sit on their sleigh.
Yeah.
Or actually their skis, and we'd go down the hill.
Yeah.
And the older children helped with the younger ones. I remember sitting with this older boy, and he taught me my ABCs.
Oh, wow.
And one time he went away, and he brought me back a little tiny doll, and I had that doll for years and years. It was just my treasure.
Now, what grades were in this schoolhouse? Is this like K through 12, high school? Or?
Well, no, we didn't have kindergarten then.
Okay.
And so we went through first grade right straight up to the 8th.
Okay.
And then you went to Spencer then, to high school.
I see. Okay. Now, you were married before you went into the service?
Yes.
Okay. How did you meet your husband?
Well, I met him at Fraley's, the dance hall.
The dance hall?
I was dancing, and he came over and asked me to dance. And then he asked me out, and so I went out with him.
How old were you at that time?
Well, I was still in high school, so I probably was 17.
And how old were you when you got married? Do you remember?
Well, it was in 1943.
Okay.
That we got married.
1943. So.
And we got married in what is now the Salvation Army in Sayre. That was a Lutheran church at that time, and we.
Right. So you must have been just 20 years old then at the time.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. Okay. Now you say that your husband went off to war. So he wasn't enlisted at the time you got married. or
No.
no?
He
Okay.
enlisted later.
Okay.
He worked for the railroad, the Lehigh Railroad.
He did.
And so he was deferred for quite a time. And then he went in, and while he was in there, he taught soldiers, you know, how to electric wiring and things like that.
Right.
And so he,
So where was he stationed?
well, let's see, he was in Keesler Field at first.
And where's that?
That's in Mississippi, I think.
Oh, okay.
hmm
Okay.
And he was there and for a while, and then he went over to Omaha, and they took him out of the service and put him in teaching
Okay.
the military.
Right. Is that still like the electrical field? that he
Yes.
did?
hmm
Very good. Yeah. Okay. So he was there, and you were at home,
hmm
and it was your sister-in-law that said,
Yes.
"Why don't you?"
Come in because
Come
she
in.
was in.
Okay.
She was a career. She spent 20 years in.
Okay. This is your husband's sister.
Sister Alice.
Okay.
Mhm.
Okay. So based upon that suggestion, then you joined up.
hmm
So where did you go to enlist?
I went
Do you
to
remember?
Sarah. I think right in Sarah there we enlisted.
Okay. And that was to go into the Navy.
Mhm.
Was that a suggestion your sister-in-law made, or
Well,
how did you get? Like, how did it turn? What branch of service you went into?
well, I wouldn't have thought of anything else because Alice was in the Navy and she told me all about it, and so
Okay.
I wouldn't have thought of any other service.
Okay. All right. So once you enlisted, what happened then? Like, did you have a training camp to go to?
Yes,
Sort of like
we-
a boot camp?
Yes, we went on Hunter College,
Okay.
and that was in Brooklyn,
Okay.
and we were there for a long time. Well, 6 weeks. It seemed like a long time
Right.
because it was boot camp, and we had to make sure we did the things right and keep up because they would just, as an example, we were going to go to Bethesda next, and so we were told to get ready, and so the day that we got ready, it wasn't raining, but the day we were going to go, there I was, and I had packed my rain hat and coat. So the sergeant, the wave there, she said, I've been trying to get you all this time, and she said, it's a shame now because she said, you're leaving and I can't make you scrub the floors.
Well, what was the training like for you? Can you remember?
Well, we studied, and we every morning we got up real early in the morning, and if it was raining, we had our slickers on, our rain hat, and it was a wonderful sight because you were walking along the water's edge, and all these people in uniform and black, dark hats and coats, and it just it was a beautiful place, really. And so then we went back and we got into the mess hall, and as you came in, the smell of the homemade bread came at you, and everybody ran to get a seat because if you didn't sometimes get any bread because it'd be gone. Everybody scooped it up, and it went just like that. It was all gone. Mhm.
Did they have you doing things like marching?
Oh yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, that's what we did. That morning we marched, and we marched in the afternoon too.
Oh, okay. So you had this regular marching drill to go through every day.
Every day.
Yeah. How far would they have you march, or how long would you march?
Oh, we'd probably be out an hour or more.
Really?
Mm-hmm.
Oh, okay.
We worked a long ways.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Was there
Early morning too. We probably was out there before 6.
right? What were the classes like then? What kind of topics were
Well,
covered?
how to be orientated into the service, how to behave, and what you could do, what you couldn't do, and all the. So we're only there 6 weeks, so I mean.
Right.
But we got a lot of training in that 6 weeks.
Yeah, so it's kind of the indoctrination into the Navy itself.
Yeah.
Was there any now you were going into the medical field? I mean, your responsibilities in the Navy were always like to work in a hospital situation? Was that the?
Well, that's you do all these tests, and then they figure out what they think you could do best,
I see.
and then they put me in there, and I was there for quite a while. But as I worked on the wards, and all the boys coming back, they were, they were sadly wounded. Some of them were very bad,
Right.
and so it just. Even talking about it now upsets me.
Sure.
But I asked them if I could get in some other place, and they put me in the officer of the day's room, and I spent the day there with each day a different doctor came and did all the recording and all the phones and all
Right.
that, and I would be in that office
Right.
helping them. So.
Before we leave, I'm going to just dwell on the basic training aspect, that first 6 weeks. So what was just some day-to-day things? What was the food like? You talked about homemade bread. And
Oh yeah, the food was really good.
it was very good.
Very
yeah.
good, and lots of it, except that bread that went fast.
Yeah.
But yes, we had a lot of good food.
Yeah. Did you gain weight or lose weight?
Oh, I don't think we gained any because we were on our feet all the time marching. Or doing exercises or something to build our body up,
Right.
and make us healthy and stronger.
Right. Did they give you any firearms? Anything
No,
to
no
do with
training.
guns or anything
No,
like that?
no,
Okay.
no.
I'm just curious.
Yeah,
because,
that's fine.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Did you have any free time during those 6 weeks?
Oh yes, we had time off. I think on probably Saturday, and we could go to church on Sunday.
You
So
could.
Mhm.
What did you do for entertainment, or did they provide any entertainment? Now this was
Well,
at Hunter
Hunter
College in Brooklyn, New York. This was your
boot camp.
boot camp
Mhm.
experience.
Mm-hmm.
Um,
Yeah.
any entertainment?
They would sometimes have entertainment come in for us, but
Right.
usually by the time we got through our day, we didn't care if we had entertainment. We went to bed to get some rest.
Yeah.
But we did work now at times later on. We would, they would take soldiers or sailors, actually. We didn't have many soldiers, but sailors we had. And if they were wounded, and they weren't wounded too badly to be moved, we'd take them in ambulances out to Jones Beach.
Oh, neat.
And we would, they'd be in the sun. We'd have picnics for them, and we'd just show them a nice time.
Yeah.
So that was...
So while you were at Hunter College, were you already immersed in working in the hospital work and working with the soldiers or wounded coming back?
Yeah, beginning.
Beginning,
Mhm.
okay.
Mhm.
Were they very seriously wounded?
Yeah,
Or?
some of them were very
Some-
seriously wounded,
Okay.
and some weren't.
Right.
But most of them, if they weren't too bad. I think the ones who were worse came there to be treated.
Right.
They did a lot of miracles there.
Yeah. That was nice that you took them out like that.
Yeah.
Those that could go out for the day,
Mhm.
go to the beach.
Yeah, and sometimes we'd take them to a movie or something like that,
Yeah.
something to entertain them if they were able to go.
Right.
And some of them, going to the beach, they could even take, in a wheelchair or a gurney
Right.
and take them home so to get some sun.
Sure.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, that was nice. So where do you have any other recollections of your basic training experience that you want to share?
Well, I know I met a lot of wonderful people.
You did.
We were girls, we were all, so new.
Sure.
And, but we stuck together, and we really, you have 10 people friends for the rest of your life, really.
Is there anyone that you still communicate with?
Well,
from
not so
there?
much now. It's been a long time, but
Right.
there are times that we get together and,
You did.
talk, or maybe call on the phone, something like that.
Sure.
Mm-hmm.
Sure.
Yeah.
So where was your next stop after boot camp, after Hunter?
Then I went to Bethesda, Maryland,
Okay.
and I wasn't there too long, so I don't know where. It was a nice place, and we still did our marching and our exercises and our eating, of course.
Right.
Yeah. And then from there we went out to Long Island. We went to St. Albans, and that was a
Okay.
hospital
Okay.
where
And with St. Albans was, is that also, must be where they received a lot of war
Yeah,
wounded?
yeah, that was Long
coming
Island.
back?
Long Island, yeah.
Okay. Was that, were they, was that a mixture? Was it primarily Navy men or Army or both?
Navy.
Or Navy. It was
Navy.
strictly Navy
Yeah.
coming back. So, what kinds of things did you work with there then? What were your duties?
Well, we had to just take care of the sick, you know.
Okay.
And each day you were assigned to something different, or like one day you'd make beds, and the next day you'd feed them. It was all different kinds of things that we did.
Right. That was good. Does anything stand out in your mind of your experience at St. Albans? Any?
Well, we used to go into New York on the subway.
Yeah.
Because we didn't have the hard marching like we did before. And so we went into New York quite a few times. And Alice was in New York at that same time, so we would get together and go to a play
Oh,
or a
nice.
show or something. And then I'd go back on the Long Island. And that was quite scary
Yeah.
because there weren't too many people, you know, after 10, 11 o'clock.
Oh,
probably.
yeah.
I'd be coming back and
Yeah. Were you in uniform this whole time? You were expected to be in uniform whether you went in to go to a play or...
Oh yeah, you were in uniform always.
If you, now I'm not trying to pry, but if you wanted to, let's say, go into a bar to have a bite to eat and a drink or something, was that permitted or was that something that...
Oh yes, you could do that.
Yeah,
Mm-hmm.
yeah. Okay.
I remember being there, I think it was when I was in St. Albans, that it was, the war was over. Must have been the first one, the German one. Anyway, we went downtown New York, and it was afternoon and evening, and the bars were all open, the doors were all open, and they'd take a drink and throw their glass into the road.
Really?
And there was glass up to your ankles in that street. It was really dangerous.
Really?
But it was wild.
That was
really
that
wild.
they were doing that. Just this is when the war was announced that it was over,
It was just
and
wild.
it was just all the bars and people would just toss their glass right out.
And they were just everybody was just so happy.
Sure. That must have been an experience
It
to
was.
be there to see
Yeah.
to see that.
It's almost like New Year's Eve, you know.
Yeah.
They always have a big time then.
So, with how large was the group that you started out with when you enlisted and you were at boot camp? Were you in a particular group? Do you remember that?
I don't remember what group it was, but it was large. I know that.
It was
Probably
large.
100 or more, maybe.
And did most of you stay together as you went from one place, or did you get
We got separated.
separated? Oh, okay.
Yeah. Most always were separated.
Yeah.
Because we'd all go the same day, usually. If you were in this group, you went the same day, but each one went where they were supposed to go. And,
Right.
Mhm.
Right.
So,
That's good. So, is there anything else? Do you have any idea how long you were at St. Albans?
oh, I don't know. I don't know how many months. It was
Yeah.
just months. It wasn't a year or anything.
Yeah. Was that the primary place that you were stationed at for the length of service?
Yeah.
That you had? Okay.
Then I went to Balboa Park
Balboa Park.
in California. And that's where I was there a few weeks, and then I was the war was over and I got out then.
Okay.
And then I went up to Spokane with my husband. He was still in.
He was still in, but he was stationed up in Spokane,
Yeah.
Washington. Oh, that was good. You can finally get
Yeah.
back together again.
Yes, so I went back up there and stayed and came home with him when he came home.
And when was that? Do you remember about when he came home?
Well, it was in, it was about maybe 6 months or so after
After
the war was over.
Yeah. Yeah. Oh, that was good. Did you ask to go to California so you could be there when, to hook up with him to get back together, or?
Yeah, well, there was a choice, and you could take your choice. So I chose Balboa Park because it was the closest
Yeah.
to that.
And you knew that you would be discharged from.
Yes, Yes,
there.
I was going to be discharged from
Right,
there.
because I see on your discharge papers, U.S. Naval Personnel Separation Unit, it's called Balboa Park, San Francisco.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, so that would put you pretty close to where he was going
Yeah,
to
that's
be.
where I wanted to be.
That's good.
Mm-hmm.
That's good. Well, you talked a little bit ago about requesting some other duty because of the stress of dealing with some of the wounded. Do you want to elaborate on what that was like for you?
Well, I just got very, very upset, and I got so I couldn't sleep nights, and so I just told my officer, and they gave me that new job. So.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I guess it would be kind of understandable. I mean, seeing young men coming back so terribly wounded.
Yeah, and with my own husband being in,
Right, it would make you constantly thinking
reminded
of what might be happening to him, or a fear that would.
Mm-hmm.
So what was the new assignment like then that they gave you? What did that officer of the day, was it?
Officer of the day, yes.
Office of the day, or
It was
officer
like
of
an
the day?
office, like,
Right.
like office. And one doctor each day, a different one each day, came, and he worked in there, and he answered the phone and did all the things he had to do then. People coming in and going out. And I was in there, and I did office work then.
I see.
Mm-hmm.
Well, good. So what, when you got back together with your husband, and you said like about another 6 months or so of service before he was discharged.
Mm-hmm.
And then you came back here to the Elmira area, or?
Well, first we went back down to San Francisco. He was still in the service, and I worked in the gift shop. Mm-hmm.
Of a hospital?
Yes. Mm-hmm.
Was this a Navy hospital, or? Oh, but as a civilian?
No,
You were still enlisted, you think, at the time?
Yes. Well, let me think. Maybe not. Maybe I was a civilian. Yes, maybe. I guess I was.
You might have been a civilian, but was still able to.
Because I had gotten out before that.
Yeah,
Mm-hmm.
yeah. Well, that's good. Can you think of any other experiences that you might have had that stand out through your? I know you were only in for a year, so it must have gone by pretty quickly.
Yeah. Well, it did. Except I wanted to be with him all the time, of course.
Right.
That made it seem long, but it wasn't really long.
Yeah. Yeah.
I don't think of anything yet right now
Okay.
that I could tell you.
Okay. Did any of the experiences or any of the training you received in the Navy help you prepare for any jobs that you may have had subsequent, in your civilian life?
Yes, I work in a gift shop now.
You do?
I volunteer at the Packer.
Yeah,
Mhm.
yeah.
So I volunteer there. I've been there
Right.
15 years now.
Have you?
I
Oh, good
volunteer
for
every
you.
week. Uh-huh.
Great, great.
And so I don't. Wish I could think of some more things.
That's okay. That's all right. Take your time. So you felt that it was a good experience?
Oh
that you
yes,
had?
oh yes. I wouldn't have given it up for anything.
Yeah.
I'm very glad I went in. It did help me in a lot of ways. It helped me to mature and, be more sure of myself. I felt that I could do things,
Right.
And before I was young, and
Right.
I wasn't experienced, and so it did give me a lot of self-confidence and self-assurance.
And that kind of all started with that basic training and the job assignments and
meeting people and
sure, very good. Do you often think of what it's like for women today to be in the military?
Well, I go to this meeting at the Holiday Inn every other month. We have a meeting, and it has all soldiers and WAC and waves and all them. And we get to talking about things like that when we're at those meetings.
Mm-hmm.
But I don't know of anybody right now that's in it,
Right.
so that I don't get
You
information.
don't have any direct information from
No.
any women in the military.
Mhm.
Yeah. Because it was, I mean, it was, of course, at that time, you see, men were being drafted,
Yeah,
but women weren't. So
Right.
it's kind of neat to find out from someone, a woman, why they went in and what propelled. So here it was just your circumstances
Yeah.
and your sister-in-law saying, well, why don't you come on in,
Uh-huh.
that kind of thing. So was there ever any concern about possibly being sent overseas or
no, they
No.
didn't go over there. Well, at least the nurses did, but not the other ones.
the Navy nurses would have gone,
Yes,
the
and the
RNs,
Army nurses,
the
they would have gone.
Army nurses, but not the Navy,
Yeah.
the Navy nurses
Oh.
too, as long as there are RNs.
Yes.
Okay,
Mhm.
but you were classified as a, what was your classification again
It's in the blood.
then? A hospital apprentice,
Yeah, that,
first class, so
that's it.
they wouldn't have sent anybody with that classification?
I don't think so.
Yeah, not that you're,
Because I wasn't in that long really to get
Right.
into it. But I
Right.
don't think so.
right, okay, you weren't in that long, okay, very good. So what was, what did you end up doing then after the military?
Well, I went to beauty school.
Okay.
I was a beautician
All right.
for many years.
And your husband, what did he do after the military?
Well, he worked for the Lehigh and he went back to the Lehigh.
He did.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
He retired from there after 42 years.
With Lehigh Railroad.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Based out of Sayre, was it?
Yeah.
Or- yeah.
Well, he worked in the Sayre shops.
Okay.
He was an electrician and he wound these big motors
Yeah.
and things that they needed for the trains.
So your life has, except for the military experience, all of your life is pretty much revolved around our local area.
That's right. Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah. I lived in Elmira for a while when I was young, real young.
Right.
But mostly in, well, I actually didn't live in Sayre long, but we moved to Waverly.
Okay.
And we had 3 girls,
You did.
and we raised them mostly in Waverly.
I see.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Very good. Is there anything else that would come to mind about your military experience then? No?
No, I don't think
No.
so.
I think we've you've listed a few things here. Hunter College,
Mm-hmm.
then the experience at St. Albans,
Mm-hmm.
and you told us about you wanted to mention about that walking in the morning, the
Yeah.
marching in the morning.
Yeah, uh-huh.
Gotcha. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And you have a little. Oh, you mentioned storm hat.
Oh, that's what I told you when I forgot and packed it.
Oh, and you needed it.
And I needed it.
And you needed
it.
it.
rained that morning.
Oh, okay.
That's how that happened.
Oh, God. Okay then. Well, very good. Now you have a sister-in-law that's been in the military,
Mhm.
right?
Mm-hmm.
And you say you have a neighbor. These are all women. That you
Yeah,
have
it's a
you have a
neighbor lady.
neighbor that served in the military.
Yeah.
Are there any other women that you know of locally that?
Well, there's quite a few of them that come from the different, like Barton and places like that.
For this meeting that
this
takes
meeting,
place.
Yes, they're all from here. Some are even from Corning and like that.
Okay.
We have about maybe 50 or 60 who come for these luncheons.
Oh, very good.
Mhm.
Every other month then?
Every other month.
Oh, that's nice.
Yeah, well, it keeps us in touch.
Right. Right.
And Alice and I always go together and go up, and
Right. I think that's where we got your name. Must have been from that group.
probably so.
Right.
Mhm.
Very good.
Mhm.
Okay. Anything else that you'd like to?
Yes, again, just that I was very happy that I went. I'm very glad that I went.
Right. It was
It's worth every.
a good experience
Yes,
for
it
you.
was. Mhm.
I think it's noteworthy too that you, I guess, given your youth, that you say like it just gave you some more confidence and
It did a lot for me.
Yeah. Very good.
So,
Okay.
mhm.
All right. Well, I guess I'm going to just shut this off, and if we talk anymore, we want to add some more, we'll just turn the tape back on.
Okay.
Otherwise,